Hi everybody! I wanted to go ahead and make a video to show you guys how we do guided reading in our classroom. Now this is something that we do usually on a daily basis, and we start by introducing the book to the students. So we do a couple of things. We look at the cover, we ask questions, and we do also front load some vocabulary. So for our emergent readers that are still working on sight words, I'll do something like make flashcards. So they'll have flashcards for words that are going to be used in the book. And they'll have these flashcards in front of them. I'll go over the flashcards with them first, or the words on the flashcards. And this is just a little game that we play. So every time that they see the word throughout the story as I'm reading, they'll pull up their flashcard and they'll show it to me. So just a little example, I'll show them this, the A, has, and my. So I'll ask questions like, what do you think this book is going to be about based on the title? I ask questions like, where can we find the title? Usually the kids will just point it out to me. And I ask them, where can we find the author? And they'll point that out. And I'll ask them, what about the illustrator? They're usually pretty good at all this stuff since they do it every day with me. So they should be able to tell you what the jobs of each person is. So what does the author do? What does the illustrator do? And all that good stuff. So once we've gone over this, we do what we call a picture walk. So let's say this is a fresh book that we haven't read before. I go ahead and after we talk about the first, the cover, and they tell me what they think it's going to be about, we go ahead and we start. So most of these books on Raz have a focus question. So what can you find in this treehouse? And that's going to be our focus question while we're reading. So once again, we look at the picture. They kind of tell me what they think she's doing. I like to do things like what expression is on her face. What do you think she's thinking about? Things like that, just to get their little wheels turning. Now these are words to know. So some of our students have a pretty good vocabulary, but some of them still don't know what a lot of things are. So I just make sure that we're understanding what these things are. So we go through the words, just make sure everybody knows what these things are. So here, this is still our picture walk. So we ask, what do you think's going on in this picture? What is she doing? Just questions about what you see. And we're going to do this through the whole book. So here, we're going to ask again, what does it look like she's doing? Where do you think she's going? That kind of thing. So we go through all of the pages and we do a picture walk. We just talk about the images, give everybody the opportunity to share. All right, so I'm going to go back now. While we're doing our picture walk, we can also make predictions, like what do you think is going to happen next and things like that. So then I go ahead and I actually read the book to the students. So as I'm reading, I'm making sure that they are paying attention. And like I said, this is when they would utilize their flashcards. So if I say my, the students would be pulling out their my cards. So my treehouse. And we're always pointing at the words as we read. My treehouse. Once again, just making sure we know our words. My treehouse has a big sign. My treehouse has a tall ladder. My treehouse has a wooden door. So we go through, and I'm just doing this quickly because I just want to show you guys. So we do that all the way through. Now, if you wanted to take some time and confirm some of the predictions that were made during the time that you're reading, that's awesome. You can always say, oh, look, he was talking about the door, or she was talking about this, or you were right, that did happen. So then after we go through the whole book, we do what is called echo reading. So, and like I said, this is for students that are still learning how to read, so that are still learning their sight words and things like that. So my treehouse, I would read it, and then the student would repeat right after me. while I point at the words. So again, I would read, my treehouse has a big sign. And then they would read, my treehouse has a big sign. I would read, my treehouse has a tall ladder. And then they will read, my treehouse has a tall ladder. So this is just, it's what they call echo reading. It really helps the students to see the words and say them out loud. And we just go through the whole book just like that. And that is our echo reading. And we do see an improvement in vocabulary and word recognition when we do this type of reading in class. So it's a tool that we really like to utilize. And assuming that this is a book that you guys are going to read together and talk about, you can go and you can ask questions about the book afterward. There is always a fun activity which you are more than welcome to try as well. But what we usually do is I ask, who was the main character? What did the character do? Where did the story take place? When do you think it took place? Usually we'll talk about the seasons, if it looks sunny out, if there's snow out, if it looks like it's raining, just things like that. And we ask questions like, why do you think the author wrote this book? Just anything that the kids might want to share. A lot of times they'll go into a story and they'll start telling me about a treehouse they had or something in their backyard that they like to do. And that's pretty much how we do our guided reading in the classroom. So if you would like to take the opportunity to do that with your students, I just wanted to share how we do it in class, and that way they'll be a little bit familiar with the process. Thanks for watching.